In this video, we are going to learn about something called as velocity. This technique is going to be used for objects that show a kind of movement which is mechanical and repetitive. For example, let's say this cube is to basically rotate like a tire. So on the controller, I'd have an attribute called as speed, which I'm setting to 0 right now. When I press play on the timeline, you see that nothing happens. Go back and change my speed to 5, and you see that my tire should automatically start rotating. Change that to 10, and it should start to rotate a bit faster. Change that to, say, 25. It'll be even faster. Go back to 5. Go back to -5, and it should start rotating in the opposite direction. So really, this number right here is deciding how fast my object is rotating in this particular case. So I'm going to make this happen through something called as a velocity script, which is written into a relationship called as expressions. I'm going to introduce to you guys expressions a bit more eventually, but for now I want you guys to be able to dig out the script, copy and paste it, modify it to use it for your purposes, which is exactly what I'm about to do in this tutorial. So to be able to extract that script, go into Window, Animation Editors, Expression Editor. And the first thing I want you to do when you go in here is click on Select Filter and say by expression name. This is to basically sort all the expressions you've written in an alphabetical manner. That's all that it means. So there it is. That's the expression I've written. Click on it and find the body of that expression over here. Select it, Control C to copy it, bring it in a notepad file. That font is a little too big, so I'm just going to reduce it. There you go. So this is my script right here. Let me minimize this, let me minimize this. And this is the new file that I'm literally going to insert, modify and insert my expression in. Now it's really important that you start out by copying and pasting your expression in a notepad file, just like I have over here. So let's take a look at what we have here. Here's my outliner. I've got tire underscore geo, and I've got a tire underscore control. You might have your own geometry, you might have your own specific controller. That's completely up to you. So what I'm going to do is start out by selecting the controller, and I'm going to add an attribute called speed, and that's going to be in lowercase S-P-E-E-D. Everything is in lowercase. Just going to say OK, which is automatically set to 0. Now I want you to retrieve, number one, I want you to retrieve the name of the geometry that needs to be rotated. In this particular case, the name of the geometry is tire underscore geo. I'm just going to copy that, go into the notepad file, and I'm going to replace that in 3 different places. Right here, Control V, right here, Control V, and right here. So wherever it says cube underscore geo, I'm going to replace that with tire underscore geo. That was edit number 1. Next up, the second edit, I want you to figure out what axis is this object going to rotate in. Let's take a look at the channel box, and you realize that this particular tire is rotating in the Z axis. In the Z axis. So that's what we need. I'm going to replace that here. Z, Z, Z. Once again, 3 different changes. Wherever it says rotate X, you have to replace that with rotate Z. And I also want you to see that the Z or the Y or the X, whatever it is that you're putting in, is in caps. Okay. Number 3. Edit number 3. Which controller is hosting this attribute called as speed? In this particular case, it's tire underscore control for me, which is hosting the speed attribute. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to replace that here. See where it says cube underscore anim, replace that with tire underscore control. And because the name of the attribute is speed, everything in lowercase, that's what is going to go over here. If you have decided to name your attribute something like velocity, then this is going to be velocity right over here, this part. Okay, so this is my edited script. I'm going to copy everything, go back in here, start out with the expression editor, and you know what to do as soon as you go into the expression editor is you click on select filter and set it to by expression name to order, to sort, to list all the expressions you have in here that you've already written in an alphabetical manner. And because we haven't written any expressions at all here, this is the first expression we're about to write, that list is empty. So let's start out by giving our expression a nice name. I'm going to say tire speed expression. And I'm going to paste the script in here. And I'm simply going to say create. And there you go. If I have this selected now, if I have this selected, I change my speed to 5, press play, change it to 10, change it to 20. Do you see how the object has suddenly seemed like it is slowed down when I switch my speed to 20? Now that's not because the object is slow. It's because the object is moving so fast that it's appearing to be slow. So if I was to render this out with a motion blur or something like that, you will definitely catch that speed. So don't worry about the object slowing down or anything like that. It won't. Let me reduce that number to -5, and it should move in the opposite direction, -10, so on and so forth. Now that is the velocity script for you. You should be able to find the original file with the velocity on the cube in your Dropbox, and you can go off of that.